Coming up next on Get Caught in a Net.
Get caught in a net with Annette. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with Annette. It's your intellectual radio show. Here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with Annette. Get caught in a net with Annette.
You are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, where your hosts, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need Annette? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Hey guys, welcome. I'm so excited. Welcome to another segment of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. I'm your girl, your host, Annette Harris. I am also your certified positive mental health ambassador and author of that bestseller, Surviving a Silenced Heartbeat, award-winning author, might I add. I am so excited. Don't readjust your screens. I know you're used to seeing me on Wednesday afternoons at 12 noon, but I decided we needed to do a special day, same time, to highlight a wonderful group of individuals. Now we all know that, of course, March is Women's History Month. And so I have been highlighting individuals in my What's Her Story series, women of God, professionals, authors, individuals who are out there making her story count. And so today I wanted to hear from a group of millennials. We kind of talk around them sometimes, but we need to hear what's on their minds. And so I asked you, if you would not mind, come on in, tag individuals, share, like and share. Throw up the thumbs up, the care button, the heart button, if you would not mind, for me to let everyone know that we are doing a special segment on today, and I don't want you to miss it. Now, I understand it's a Saturday, it's nice out here in the Midwest, and you may be out, but you can always join us and look at the recorded session. So we're going to get started. You know what? I jumped ahead of myself. God, we thank you for all things. We thank you for what you've done, what you're going to do, and how you're going to bless. We ask that you would get the glory. My God, in the name of Jesus, bless these young women as they come on today and anoint them. My God, give to them what you and have them to be able to give to us, oh God. In Jesus' name we pray. The opening scripture is the first part of Hosea 4:6, and it states, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And again, we are grateful to be here on this afternoon. Let me go ahead and bring them in. I see you guys joining in, and I really, really do appreciate it. Make sure, again, you tag individuals in. Let me bring them in one by one. Oops, I forgot to tell them that I'm going to have them introduce themselves, but they'll be okay. How about we start? I see looks. Look, y'all can't see what I see. All right, I'm going to bring on first. Brianna, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Let me bring them on in. I see Kimberly Grant. She's waiting and ready. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. And then we have Stephanie. Stephanie Stanberry is here with us. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm well. I'm good.
Good. And then I have one niece, Monique Smith. How are you?
Hello, thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming and joining us on today. I left this young lady for last because she was the catalyst for helping me to get everyone together. My other niece here, Latoya Neighbors Ford. How are you?
I am well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining. Listen, I don't know why she acting all quiet and stuff. That she is not quiet. Trust me. Trust me. She is not. But I know this is a different platform, so it's okay. I'm going to make you guys feel as comfortable as possible on today. But I want you to do for me, I want each of you to take time out and introduce yourself to those that are listening now live and that will come and listen to the recorded version. Just tell us a little bit about yourself personally, who you are. Who is Brianna? Let's start there.
Hi. So I'm Brianna. Born and raised here in Illinois. I am, I guess, a little bit of everything: entrepreneur, certified HR personnel, corporate America, sort of go with the flow kind of girl, but also trying to find my way in this whirlwind we call life. um, I do a little bit of everything right now. I currently invest in mobile homes, so that's what I'm really sticking to. But I've literally sold anything you can think of, from life insurance to funnel cakes to shoes. So literally, I'm always talking to people, interacting with people on the go, trying to get some money, trying to elevate, trying to just build a better life for me and my family and my friends. And randomly, they invite me to do things like this.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, welcome. Thank you for consenting to join us, should I say. I
Thank you for
appreciate
having me.
that. And thanks for introducing yourself. Come on, Kimberly. Who are you? Miss Grant? Mrs. Grant? Is it Mrs. or Miss?
It's Miss.
All right.
Come on, be in prayer for me though. All right.
Maybe I'm speaking it into existence. Come on, daughter. Come on.
My name is Kimberly Grant. I'm from Philadelphia. I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy to see so many familiar. So I have an engineering degree from Penn State University.
Good stuff.
So that is my passion at heart. I'm outgoing. I do things outside of academics, such as jewelry. I love selling jewelry. I love spending time with my family, and I'm just motivated. I'm ready. I'm at a place of not having all the answers, but so encouraged to keep moving and keep pushing and see what the Lord has for me next. So
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, I'm trying to tag my other niece in here because she's a Penn State grad as well. So I want to see if she can come on in here and support you while you're on today. Monique, I'm talking about Adele. She's Penn State grad. All right, come on, Stephanie, introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Stephanie. I am a believer, mom of 3 beautiful daughters. I have been in the insurance industry for about 6 years now. Done anything from just being agent versus agency owner. Yeah, like I said, being a mom keeps me busy. And I'm just entrepreneur spirited. I've always been into entrepreneurship. Never really enjoyed working 9 to 5s or having, a boss. So I just had to become one. So I love spending time with my friends, family, and just really evolving. At first, a lot of people get into the insurance industry due to just being money driven. So I have transferred from being money driven to passion driven. So I'm just, growing and evolving in that. So I'm excited to be here with you, lovely ladies. So looking forward to this conversation.
You said something there. You went from money driven to being passion driven. Okay. All right. I want to see what that's about. I like that. All right. Come on, Monique. Let's hear from you.
Hello, my name is Monique Smith, and I am a mother of 2. I have a daughter and a son. I am also an federal HR professional, and I have my bachelor's in human resource management as well as my SHRM certification. So I love all things people. I don't mind working a 9 to 5. I like the stability in it and just the opportunities that it affords me in my private life, which leads into some of my hobbies. I love to travel. I like to be adventurous and do a lot of dangerous activities as some people may think. I've gone skydiving before and all kind of fun things. I grew up somewhat of a tomboy. I have 4 siblings, 1 sister and 3 brothers, and my sister didn't come until I was 8. So in my childhood, I grew up very tough and I guess a little wild-like. I wasn't as girly and dainty, but I grew into that as I became a woman. But yeah, I'm here to share my history of who I am, and I'm excited to be here with all of the other beautiful ladies and our wonderful hosts. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That's my niece by marriage, but that doesn't mean anything. She's still my niece. Okay, Latoya, come on, wrap us up. Talk to us. Who are you, Mrs. Ford?
There's so much pressure being last. It should be easy, but hey y'all. I'm Latoya Neighbors Ford. What? I'm a wife to my wonderful husband Dante, and a boy mom to my loving cutie pies, Donovan and Landon. They've kind of been my world for the last couple years. Being a toddler wrangler is what I specialize in right now. Trying to keep my 7-month-old from getting trampled on. So that's been an experience. And also, I have an associate's degree from Worsham College of Mortuary Science. And as some of you may know, my family owns a funeral home, Neighbors Family Funeral Home. So I'm a funeral assistant. And I'm also a licensed insurance agent for the state of Illinois and Pennsylvania. So I have a lot going on. And I'm a Navy vet. I did 8 years in the Navy. Proudly served the country and had some awesome experiences. I think right now, if I had to sum up my life, I'm kind of just coasting through, trying to get a feel for this quote unquote soft girl era. I think I've accomplished a lot of things and done a lot of things in these short 34 years of my life. So I'm just looking forward to the new normal and whatever that is. I'm just excited for the future. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here today.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to jump in because there are a lot of things that we kind of want to talk about on today. I do appreciate each of you for coming in. I see some relatives hopping on. So that's my cousin. Love you, Kimberly. Thank you for coming in, Andrew. We appreciate you. And I see my good girlfriend, Michelle. Happy Saturday. Glad to tune in. Thank you for joining us on today. And she's tagging individuals as well. There are more. Is that Monique that came in? Hey, Monique. Oh, guys, you got to get her book. Lord have mercy. Nowhere to Call Home is the name of it. And the name should grab you. But anyway, thanks for coming in. We appreciate you. When you guys, again, come in, go ahead and make sure you click that share button. What I always tell you, it costs you nothing to click it. It costs you nothing. But what you're doing, you're helping us to get this out, reminding individuals that we are on. They can watch us live. They can always come back and watch it after the session is over. And then I'm just so excited about this because it's wonderful to see our young women, millennials, doing their thing, if I could just say it like that. Some of them may be in transition, maybe from one position to another or what have you, but they all have their head on straight. I can tell you that for sure. What I read their resumes. I've been interacting with them. Many of them I have just met on today, but I trusted Latoya's suggestions. I love her just that much. I trusted her, and you were the ladies that she selected. And I said, okay, all right, I hear you. She said, oh, this one and that one and whatever. And so I said, okay, let's bring them on. Bring them on. I want to hear from them. I want to interact with them. We want to talk with them today about what's her story. And sometimes, now I'm older, I don't mind telling my age, I'll be 57 this year. So I'm not a millennial. I see you shaking to Kimberly, yeah, baby, I'll be 57. But in terms of what I look at and what you look at, is going to be different. Our mentality about things are going to be, we're in a different generation, right? And that's okay. Sometimes I think that after my generation, we don't really sit down and take time to listen. I'm talking about us older ones, okay? And so I always want to afford that opportunity to be able to have that voice. I see you guys on YouTube. Also, I see you, Diana Jackson. Thanks for coming in. So yeah, I look forward to hearing from them. So let me stop talking. Sometimes I talk too much. Anyway, we have here the fact I wanted to focus on you, what your concerns are as a millennial woman. I researched and I saw an article that talked about the 10 worst millennial stereotypes. I kind of want to start there. All right. And it's interesting. Again, we have our own mentality about the millennials. Oh, they're this and they're that. I love me some millennials. I'm gonna tell you, I learned a lot from you all. I really do. And sometimes I don't think you get your proper credit, if you will. But these 10 worst millennial stereotypes, let me read these out, and I want to get your reactions to them. They have millennials only take selfies and don't do anything good for society. I see you laughing, Brianna. So there's two parts to that. So they only take selfies. They don't do anything good for society. Then they say millennials are shallow narcissists. Mm-hmm. They also say that they're lazy, that they're the worst generation yet. I totally don't agree with any of this. I can't say this next word. They had this in the article. My goodness. Well, how about I say this? They said they glory in the hookup culture. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Okay. All right. It's the first word I couldn't say. Anyway, they say they're materialistic and cynical. They are bulk contributors to texting while driving. I see grown folks doing that too. Lack of settling down. Buying houses or cars is going to be the downfall of the economy. Again, 10 worst millennial stereotypes. The internet and technology is a detriment to their generation and to society. And number 10, they don't know how to date. I see looks all over the place. Do y'all agree with any of those stereotypes? Anybody?
The last one.
The last one?
The last one.
Okay. Don't know.
That's it.
The last one.
Brianna?
The last one.
Uh-huh. Okay. How many married I got on here?
I'm married.
I've been married.
Okay. All right. So, all right. That's interesting. Don't know how to date.
We might text and drive too. We might do that.
Text and drive? Okay.
We might do that.
But you know what? Y'all done taught some of us older ones how to text, so we can we be texting and driving too. Tell off on some of us. Okay. Was there anything else in there that y'all agree with, or no? Is that pretty much it?
I will say that I think it differs based on gender, because I do think male millennials glory in the hookup culture, and some women, but majority the males. So I can agree with that as well.
Okay.
Which
All right.
correlates to they don't know how to date.
Gotcha. Stephanie, did you want to say something, or?
I don't agree with much of any of it. Honestly, I feel like the dating scene has drastically changed from generations prior, and they really didn't know how to date either. So I really just feel that. But I've also heard a lot of these myths or stereotypes or in regards to millennials before. I just don't agree because I feel like a lot of millennials do have different type of personalities. We do got some lazy ones, but you got some ones that are very self-motivating, very, active. So, but I know millennials get bullied the most out of all generations. I feel like they've had a target on their back for a long time. So, yeah, I don't think any of those said that I agree with. So,
Wow, you said something there. You said something. Kim, did you want to add?
I agree. I believe that millennials have like a target. What is going on? What is wrong with us?
Uh-huh.
Such a target on millennials. We are not that bad. I do believe some things definitely are true, but we are not that bad. Give us a chance. Everybody is not what. And it's so unfair because some of the people making comments are people who created monsters that are making the millennials look bad.
Oh, we.
Not all of us. So yeah.
Oh, we. Okay. Uh-huh. Come on, Toya, your thoughts?
I think for the dating piece, I really didn't date my husband, and we had a very different setup on how we even got to the whole engagement thing. But I will say, I was turned off to dating because I think the biggest issue with people and millennials is that they don't want to take accountability for the people that they raised. Like Kimberly said, they created these monsters. So if there is like an issue with people dating, well, what examples of relationships have they seen? And a lot of that plays a role in how people date, how they view marriage, how they do view having children and all of that. So I think it's a both and. A lot of these older generations don't want to take accountability. And I think millennials are just loud about that. Like, we know we have issues, but this is where the issue is coming from. And we're open for the conversation, but the older generations don't like that accountability piece. So yeah, I agree with that because dating is rough. Dating is rough. It is. And then the other piece, I agree with the what was it, like they record or something like that. I think that was one of them.
Yeah. Let's see.
I think it was
Selfies.
It was like selfies, or they quick to record or something like that.
Oh, right. That was the first one. Only take selfies and don't do anything good for society.
Yeah, I think that a lot of these past events, like some of these cases with the police, they have benefited from this selfie phone culture because a lot of things wouldn't be highlighted had we not had the footage. Yeah. So although they can look at that as a negative, a picture lasts forever. So it's been both beneficial too.
Yeah, I was just thinking the exact same thing. I'm like, okay, they talk about the selfies and the phone. Basically, they're talking about the phones and, the social media. But yeah, I'm glad you brought out the advantages because you're right. There's so many things that would not have been captured if you didn't immediately pull out the cell phone, and record or whatever. And so much that we face with systemic racism, all of that. It has helped in that respect. Oh, see, I told you guys got some good points. Come on now, let me read some comments real quick. Diana Jackson says, good afternoon, looking forward to hearing about you all. Let's see. And Linda Prescott said, great to get some insight into the minds of our young people. I totally agree. And who was that said basically millennials get a bad rap? I think that was that you, Kim? And I think a couple of you said it. Yeah, I know you mentioned that. And I totally agree because it's like, okay, can we like look at maybe the positives of it? But then again, that's the reason why I wanted to have this particular panel too, to be able to hear from you guys, not just always, tearing you down. Oh, what she got there doing that for? Why she twerking or whatever? I don't know why I said that. But anyway, I told you I can be a little interesting. But yeah, so I wanted to bring out the other aspect that we are really missing. Comment here from Angie. Thank you so much, my friend, for joining. She says, I agree. Baby boomers have a huge part to play in a lot of the millennials' way of thinking. Totally, totally agree. I totally agree. There, definitely. It's something we need to kind of turn around. Let's jump to that last one talking about the dating. Okay. Let's jump there. There was a question that was presented and says, why do people, more specifically women, harshly judge women when they are seen dating new people? Why have you all seen that? How about I ask that first? Have you seen that happen, that some women judge other women more harshly when they're dating new people?
I think it's a 50-50.
Why?
I've seen some people like, oh, she got somebody new again. But I've also seen people, well, women, and they're like, live your best life, sis. Like, because the men are doing it, why not? So I feel like it's more of a 50-50, and it also depends on the woman, and it also depends on the circle that she has, I think.
Okay. Come on, Monique, you the one brought that question. What's your thoughts?
So one of the drivers it was really two drivers for this question. And the first was Lori Harvey. You see her dating often, and she's bashed in social media about exploring her options. She's young. I mean, we can assume they may be doing some things in their relationship, but we're not behind closed doors. So we don't know what the true dynamics are. But she is very harshly judged by majority of the male society, and maybe some women, I don't know. And then the second driver was an artist, Monica, posted a picture on her Instagram, I believe, of her and her new significant other. And someone made a very judgmental question or posed a statement about her sleeping with other people and not allowing her body time to, I guess, relieve the energy and spirits from who she was last with. And she responded, and I think her response was appropriate. I don't know the dynamics of her relationship, but I'm assuming maybe the last person she was with was incarcerated or wasn't physically close to her, so she wasn't doing anything sexual with them. And so in her eyes, she was more than okay to move on and find love and happiness. And I see that even so on a more personal level from people that I know actually on social media and things like that. And it does come across as like a joke most times, but I think a lot of people really, really feel a way when women are putting themselves out there and trying to find love. And I just don't understand why other people feel so passionate about how another person chooses to live their life if they're not causing harm on you or anyone else in general.
Yeah.
But they're going through whatever the steps are to do that. And it is a risk. Dating is a risk, but that's a risk that that individual has to be comfortable with. And I don't know why it's always a topic or a thing. And I get you should heal, but how do you determine if a person is healed or not? Because we all grieve differently. And so even though a woman may have been in a relationship for 2 years with someone, you don't know when she mentally checked out and when she was already ready to leave, but she didn't for whatever the reason. So if she chooses to, by happenstance, meet someone, God maybe place someone in her life a month or 2 months later, and things progress, and it ends up being a beautiful relationship, why would that be a problem for some people? I just don't get it. So that was the reason for the question and my ideology behind it.
Okay. I got some answers, but I want y'all to talk. Who wants to tag on to that?
I'll tag on.
Okay.
So I've always felt that, just in general, you know, people are always more harsher, in my opinion, on women than they are men. So men are more glorified and gratified to have, oh, I've messed with, it's like a notch in the belt. Oh, I've messed with and talked to, 50 women. Who cares? They're like, oh man. But when it comes to women, especially, I would say now, more or less in this generation, because if we talk generation, the dating, the age in which you're supposed to be, married, me growing up, I had two sets of my grandparents. They both were married 50 plus years. They've been married since, their early, late teens, early 20s. So they're looking at others in this generation like, what are you doing? Especially me, I'm 35, and they looking like, so when are you ready to, let's, settle down here, what's going on? And when we're talking about dating and having, not settling, and it's not really, to me, it's frowned upon to want those standards or want, not settle for, just getting, no, we're not settling for just anything, because we're worth more than that. I'm not saying that previous generations, don't misquote me. There's so many successful marriages in my family, and I'm not saying that, but I feel like a lot of pressure is put on, women than, the pressure of that of a man, this generation.
I'm holding my tongue. Okay, come on, Stephanie. You look like you want to say something. I just made that up, but come on, you say something.
I honestly feel that if there is a woman that is judging another woman on her dating life, that woman has self-hate. I honestly feel that if, like, exactly, Lori Harvey, you have women who mostly are already in a relationship or married, and they looking at her like, you go girl, you figure out what you want, you don't settle, you make them sign them NDAs, like you put your business in in place, you make sure you good regardless of how many men you're with. Because I feel like because of her upbringing, she has a different mindset than the average woman who is in the dating scene, who is just not as, doesn't have that celebrity status. So yeah, I feel like that's one thing when you see the shade room comments and it's women that's going in on other women, is really giving pick me. I wish that was happening to me, but instead of me knowing how to articulate that and congratulate the next woman, I'm going to spew out hate. I'm going to spew out jealousy. So that's just, I just look at those women, just keep it moving. And it just gives off self-hate to me. So, and yes, there is a double standard with the men dating versus women dating. But I also feel like if a woman found out that her boyfriend was promiscuous earlier, it probably wouldn't affect the relationship as much. Whereas if a man found out that his woman was more, out there, whatever, promiscuous before the relationship, it can kind of alter some things. Maybe not, but most of the time it does. So with that being said, that's why I feel like women are a little bit more discreet than the men. But like Kim said earlier, men get a pat on the back and, good job. And we expecting that from you. If you're not doing it, you're not a man type. But, women get talked about, looked down upon, and just mistreated about it. So it is a double standard, but it really depends on the individual and what they're looking to do, so, in their dating life.
Yeah. Okay. Did we get everybody's thoughts on that? Brianna, did you say something?
Yeah, I agree with stuff. Like, go to therapy. You, no woman who wants to settle for a man that is just unsatisfactory. Like, if you know your worth and you know that you're top notch, why would you settle for anything that's not top notch? And so, girls who are judging in general, um, they need to work that out with a therapist, with the Lord, with somebody. Um, and they should probably stop doing that, focus on themselves, do inner work, do the real work, to also figure out why, like what's causing that, because there's a why behind you feeling that sort of type of way, whether it's shame, whether it's trauma, whether it's you're just unaware of what you're capable of. It's a why. Figure that out and then go live your best life.
Love it. All of you ladies said something very important. Stephanie, I loved how you said that they are probably giving out hate. There's that jealousy factor. And honestly, I totally agree with you on that, because I don't know if it was Monique when she started talking about it. My thing was, why in the world are you so concerned about what that other person is doing? That's just my thinking. You don't have to worry about, you ain't got to pay no bills there. You're not living in that house. You don't have to pay when she go out on the date with him. That has nothing to do with you. But we live in such a society now where, okay, I'm gonna throw my thoughts in here. Who said go to therapy? Brianna? I am always advocating for that. I'm like, oh yeah, you need to get maybe you need to get some things off your chest. Don't bring it. I think so many people hide behind their keyboards, their phones. You're making your comments. You're gonna throw it out there, whatever. Slap Lori Harvey upside her face with it, or whatever, or somebody else. When again, it has nothing to do with you. So I think there needs to be some internal dealings, healing that needs to occur. All right. Okay. We had that question. One more question about the dating. Monique presented this. How do women navigate dating in the Black community? How do they, or how should they navigate in the Black community? I get more on here that are single now. I don't know if you date anybody or not, but I want to hear from you. What do you think about the dating in the Black community? How do women, or how should they navigate? Because I heard it's kind of rough.
I think dating in the Black community, in particularly, honestly, in general, because I would use the same mindset whether I was dating in the Black community or not dating in the Black community. Assess the person and make a determination early. Are you compatible? Are you aligned? Do you want the same things? Do you even like them? Do you like them as a person? Things like that, and then keep it moving. Like, particularly within the Black community, don't trauma bond. Like, oh, this happened to me, that happened to me, we must be soulmates. That's not true. Like, just, understand what happened to each other. You guys can maybe be friends, but just because you have similar paths doesn't mean that or similar traumas or similar histories, you both didn't maybe have a particular parent. That doesn't mean that you guys are meant to be together. So you have to assess people and look at who they are, not their potential. Look at who they are currently and ask yourself, can you truly live with that person if they never changed? And if the answer is no, then I wouldn't suggest to continue the relationship. or a situationship or whatever it is y'all doing.
Okay. Kim looked like she want to say something.
Yeah, for me, navigating through that takes a lot of prayer. I don't have time to prayer for sure. Friendship for me is big. If I can't be, my potential spouse's, future spouse's friend first, that's not going to work. I mean, to me, in my opinion, because it's so much pressure, especially when you get an older age, it's so much pressure from, different avenues. We go right to, you meet somebody like, oh yeah, that's my husband. Oh, look at him. He just is crazy. You have to take time getting to know somebody, knowing what you have and what you all bring to the table. But that friendship part. But the bottom line for me is prayer. The Lord is going to lead me which way, and open those doors and build those bonds of who I need to build bonds with, and He will. Because I often, if I would meet someone, I would pray, Lord, if it's not, supposed to be, if I'm not supposed to have any type of relationship, cause something to happen, odd or crazy, that I can see clear that this person is not for me. And I'm telling you, that prayer stuff will happen. You're like, what is going? And you don't understand, but that was the prayer, and that's what would happen, and I will move forward. So prayer for me, yes, and friendship is important.
Love it. I love it. Latoya, you ain't been married that long. You can chime in on this one.
But I would say, like, a lot of what Brianna and Kim said was part of my reasonings for reasons behind getting married.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a couple guys that were interested in me. And let me just say something about this prayer thing. Know what you're praying for and be ready for what God is going to show you, because He will give it to you and it will be clear as day. And sometimes it throws you for a loop, how quick it comes. I think that was the biggest lesson I learned in dating, because growing up as a Christian, for some reason, I always felt like when people like, oh, you just got to wait for the Lord, just wait for him, just wait for him. God don't move that slow. He ain't that kind of person. Or like, if you're asking him for something, clarity, be prepared for the clarity. Like, pray in expectation of it. And I remember a guy was interested in me, and I prayed something very, very short and sweet. I say, Lord, if he is not for me, reveal it to me. 2 days later, that man called me drunk in the club, like, why won't you marry me? I haven't talked to him since. And it was scary because, for one, I don't think we're taught to actually, like, believe that God will answer our prayers. I think sometimes it's cliche to say, like, hey, pray about it. But to know that God actually heard me and he moved expeditiously, I was just like, come on, friend, help me find this man then. Because if he ain't the one, then who is he? And sure enough, right after that, my husband showed up. And it's interesting because I remember people were trying to get me married off. And I kept telling them, like, my husband ain't in this church. My husband ain't here. My husband ain't there. And I remember specifically saying, my husband is not here. And when he does get here, I'm going to leave this church, the church that I was at the time. But I just, like, the words were not my own. Like, we all up into manifestation, but God plants the seed. He knows the plans for your life and who that person is. And for me personally, I got rid of every checklist I ever had because in reality, I dated every man that I wanted. That was my choice. And I found out my choice wasn't that good. My picking skills wasn't that good. So I also had to come to reality with that and say, Lord, you know exactly what I need. You know who this person is, and you know me. Because as much as we can look at the other person, there are some things about us that can cause issues in relationships that we don't want to bring up either. It's not always about the other individual.
Mhm.
So you actually got to find somebody who, as much as you have to accept them, they can accept you and the changes that come with you. Me and my husband will be married 3 years in May. I am not the same woman I was when he met me. I am not. And then we had kids, 2 of them right after. I am not the same person. And he is not the same man. So, those are the changes that I wasn't expecting, but I'm learning to figure out and get through and work through. But I think that was it, like losing the unrealistic expectations, the fairy tale stories. You are not your parents' story or relationship. And no matter the pressures that people give you, this is your life. This is your choice. And if marriage is the goal, because it's not for everyone, but if it is the goal, that is one of the most major decisions you'll make. It affects every part of your life, every part of your life. And because you're now making decisions with someone, even the small things, like it affects everything. So you can't just be so casual with it and it's worth that time. So in the Black community, women get dogged for wanting just fair treatment because Black women are taught to accept and take on everything. We're mothers to everyone, every race, every gender. And a lot of times we get lost in the shuffle. And the last place you want to be lost is in a relationship. So if that is something that you are pursuing or thinking about, ask the Lord, but be prepared for what he shows you and believe it. You ain't crazy. Believe it. And it doesn't take long. Me and my husband met in September of 2020. We were married May 2021. And he was the easiest yes I ever experienced. And it was weird and it was shocking because I was like, am I desperate? Lord, what's happening? But I meant it. But it flowed so naturally. And I've had other men interested in me, even to the point of wanting to propose. And that no was right here before they could finish what they had to say. But here's this man.
If they looked like they was gonna answer, you was gonna say no. Huh?
I was ready. But here, Dante Ford from Philly, Latoya Monique Neighbors, you are my wife. And I'm like, okay, I'll marry you. And it was that quick and it was that simple. And I have been asking the Lord since that day just to continue to confirm my yes. And left the rest to the wind, because I mean, life is lifing and things are happening, but we're also still learning each other. So I mean, yeah, it's a lot. But ladies, if I can encourage you in anything, don't back down. You're worth the wait. You're worth all of it. All the cliche sayings they have out there. And if that man ain't intentional with you, intentionally leave him.
And have healthy boundaries. Like
Period.
stand on your boundaries.
That part.
Oh,
come on, Bree. You always riding from the gear.
I love it. Thank you,
Sorry, that was a long answer.
for those comments. Brianna, you start talking about boundaries. Oh my goodness. Explain.
I think, like Toya said, and particularly with Black women, we get caught up in having to be everybody's everything all the time. And then we put this cape on of being, I'm strong, but strong is just like a code word for a work mule. You're going to have to get somebody else to do it. I have a life that I want to be healthy in, and I want to thrive in, and I want to be happy in. And if I let everybody else come in and just disrespect and disrupt and disregard what I am and who I am and what I have going on, I'm never going to get to where it is that I'm trying to go or achieve what it is I'm trying to achieve. So it's real simple. You have your boundaries, and that's the main way to weed people out, whether it's friendships or whether it's a husband or a boyfriend or a business partner. If they can't respect things that you set in place, then they're not for you. They're not meant to be in your life.
Mm, okay. Monique, come on, hop in. Are any of these responses helping that question that you presented?
They are, but from a different angle.
Okay.
Because when I was thinking of this question, it was mainly about the Black community and the stark difference between men wanting to settle down and women wanting to settle down. And so, as a Black woman who would prefer to have a Black male when there aren't as many Black men that are interested in marriage, how do you navigate that? Because I'm not opposed to, biracial relationships. I'm a supporter of love. Wherever you can find love, embrace it. But everyone does have their own preferences. And I think some of the tips that were shared, praying about it, building a friendship, setting boundaries, those are extremely crucial. But I hear and read different things from shared posts or just different articles. And mainly I hear women outnumber men. So that's the first problem. Then you have the quality or the number of available men is even smaller. And then in that area, you have their preferences. So some may be into men and not be available for women. And then the rest are, into women and single, but do they have a background that can really limit your movement in life, or restricted income where they aren't making as much? Do they have the same values as you, as terms of, yeah, I want to set a goal to buy a home and maybe work towards owning my own business, whatever the goals are that I hear many women accomplishing on their own. It's hard for them to find someone that's close to their equal or equivalent, because I have 3 business entrepreneurs on the call. And I mean, I hear a lot of time women are making moves and getting their education and acquiring jobs that afford a very comfortable lifestyle and setting up a path for generational wealth and things like that. And not to say that men in the Black community aren't doing it, but I hear it far more for the women than I do for the males. And so, do you step back and pipe your standards down, or do you stay fast and keep going through the jungle and hit by poison ivy trees and sticks and tripping over logs and all kind of dangerous situations? But that was the main reason why I posed that question, because I think it is different within the Black community, because in other communities, they're getting married on a far more faster track than Black couples. You have some Black men that don't even want to be in relationships, let alone work towards a marriage. They're comfortable with, as Brianna said, the situationship titles. And it's not all. I know it's not all, but it is enough to where you have women in the Black community voicing their experiences nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, you do got to pick better, but when your pickings are so slim, how do you navigate that?
Wow.
So that was really the
The
reason.
reason behind it. And as you're talking, I'm thinking, you mentioned about simply that you're open to interracial relationships. Do you think, and I'm just throwing this in here, do you think that some are probably open to it because of what you just said? There's slim pickings, if you will. You don't have, those of you that want to, that desire to be in, your own race, in a relationship with your own race. Is it because there's slim pickings that maybe you kind of open up because you're like, okay, there's not much to choose from around here, so maybe I can, do you think that is a reason behind that, having that open mindset, or is that just how you are?
I think it could be 50-50, but for me personally, it was because the lack of available Black males. It's like, well, maybe I need to broaden my horizons.
Okay.
And I've never dated anyone out of my race. I'm not in the same rooms to meet people outside of my race. But I know some people are adamantly against it. Like, no, you need to maintain the Black family because we're dying off. And I support that. I mean, it's nothing like, to me personally, like a strong Black couple. Black love is just, to me, beautiful. But again, I'm a supporter of all love, but yeah.
Okay. I hear you. I just want to throw that in there. Let's see here. Guys, if you're just now joining us, today is the first ever What's Her Story Millennial panel. And of course, we're recognizing Women's History Month. And I'm talking to these wonderful millennial women. I would call them on the texting thread beautiful millennial queens. And they are inside and out. And they're here to share with us, basically what's on their mind. I just wanted to hear about their perspective, from their generation's point of view and what they're thinking. And those of you that are just now joining us, you may have to rewind for the entire segment, but I'm glad that you are here. Let's see, Denise has joined us and she says, marriage is not easy. And yes, you are worth the wait. Angie Mims said Latoya Neighbors for the Women's Day speaker. Yes, Angie, that's right. Some of you were throwing out some quotes. Somebody said, "God don't move that slow." Who was that? Who said that? Latoya? Oh, that's probably why she said you're the Women's Day speaker. All right. Judith Capers has joined us over on YouTube, and she says, "Hey, Kimmy." I guess there must be family. Probably the only person to call you Kimmy, huh? Let's see here. And as you were talking, Monique, Denise just said that was a good question that you had. So proud of these Black women giving valuable perspective, says Michelle. Thank you for that comment. This is a lot of facts. This is facts. Okay, Denise. A lot of women are saying this. Good perspective. I got to learn how to talk like y'all do. She said, "This is facts." Okay, all right. I'm trying to be. Why y'all laughing at me? All right. So let's see here. The pickings are slim, says Denise. I think the stat says it's 13 women to 1 man. Can you confirm that for me, Denise? Because there's a question on the floor. Thank you for joining my sister, Gwendolyn Gaston Gray. She says, so why do you believe the pickings are slim? And I don't know. I don't want to answer for you guys. Why do you believe the pickings are slim? Okay. You guys are throwing up stats as I'm reading. Gwendolyn says nope. She says actually the gender ratio in the U.S. is 97 males per 100 females. Okay. Now, is that a general or are we talking about blacks? Because we were talking about black relationships. Can we get some stats on that since y'all throwing them up so fast?
So I do believe from the last time I looked at this, I wrote a paper on this, but in college, but this was like years ago. But from what I understand, there are more women in America, I believe, than there are men. But there are more Black women, I guess, walking the streets available due to mass incarceration and the killing of Black men. So that's what, and those are just the men that are alive and like outside for us to meet. That has nothing to do with like character and who they are as a person and what they want. These are just like actual Black men that we can touch and see. Like that's why there's such a difference in like actual literal difference between how many Black women are available versus how many Black men are available. That's where it starts. And then of those Black men that are available, you have to deal with like Monique said, maybe they might be gay, maybe they might have their preferences, maybe they don't even want to get married, and then that just narrows the pot more and more. But it's already not a lot of them in
Yeah. Okay. I get that. And I totally understand. Gwen did say that her stats were for all races. So let's see. Denise says, although the overall sex ratio for unmarried adults in the United States was about 90 men per 100 women, the 30 to 34 age group had the highest ratio at nearly 121 men to 100 women. Interesting. This is likely due to men having a higher median age at their first marriage, I guess at 30, than women at 28. Okay, so that's some stats that she pulled up. And she said it's not a lot, like Monique said. Wow. Okay, this is really deep. All right, this is getting, I'm making up a word, gooder and gooder. Okay, so Gwendolyn Gaston Gray says we have to think about the narratives in the white controlled media gives us. All right, so yeah, I get that, and I agree with her. I agree with all of you, actually. I don't know if it kind of makes me a little going back and forth, but I haven't been in the dating field for 27 years, 28 years almost. So I have no idea what's out there. Okay, so I get it. You coming from your perspective and you're seeing, what's there, what you're up against, basically, and that I believe that's why you presented the question. You come from your own personal. There's not that much out here, and I feel for you guys. I really do. Gwendolyn Gaston Gray, you guys, I'm laughing at her because she's throwing up some comments, about me and my childhood. She called me a Chester. Do you all know what a Chester is? They're too young, Gwendolyn Gaston Gray. They don't know what that means. We'll just leave it at that. Anywho, I had a lot of male suitors. Y'all know what that means? Okay. But Brianna, why you get that look, Brianna? Goodness, she said, oh.
Well, I was just looking for like some sort of explanation because I literally had no clue what a Chester was.
All right, yeah, that's exactly what it means, and they're laughing on here. I see you, Denise, and my sister said player. Okay, yeah, that's kind of going too far. I don't know if I was playing, but anyway. Carolyn, thanks for coming in. She says, I would like to hear their perspective on dating through social media as opposed, that's a good one. I asked you all to throw in your comments and your questions. So do y'all see that on the screen? I would like to hear your perspective on dating through social media as opposed to face-to-face dating. Stephanie.
So I actually am married. I've been married for 14 years. I got married at 19 years old. So me and my husband, even though we're at a weird space, being married so young for so long, we're at a evolution space where it's like deciding if we're going to stay together or not. So being married that long, I wanted to say about the dating first. I do believe it's your beliefs and your perspectives. Because if you, whatever you focus on expands. So if you feel like the dating pool got pee in it and it's not that many suitors, that's what you're really going to continue to attract and see. So if you do have a different perspective or belief to say, I know my person is out there, I'm going to have these boundaries and standards set in place. So when God has that man find me, then we can move forward. So I do believe it's a mindset that is kind of attached to it. And you don't want to like come into the dating situation feeling like you already are defeated before you even start or before you even make a connection or, you know, anything of that sort. So that's just my opinion on that. However, I am a millennial, but I am a little old school. So social media, I know a lot of people have met through online dating, um, just chatting, meeting through these different apps. But for me, I do believe in just meeting people or God putting that person in my path or meeting naturally, organically. Because I do feel, and this is just has been my experience, I do feel that women get so impatient that they feel like the app or the internet is going to let me basically order my man the way I want to. I can go on this app, I can swipe left, I can swipe right, and it basically puts you in this hunting type of mindset when really you're supposed to be the hunted. They, you know, they come, the men, this is just my old fashioned beliefs of relationship now, but that's just the way I see it, is that sometimes as women we like to put things into our own hands because we are lonely or we feel like we need somebody or we get the pressure from family and they're pressuring us. So I do feel like the social media aspect of it, people, women try to take that as I'm gonna find somebody, I'm gonna have somebody to talk to, whereas let me just step back and allow me to love me to be happy with me by myself, who I am as an individual, and that other person will show up. So
Wow. Okay. I like that. Who want to jump in?
I'll jump in. Uh,
Okay.
so first, uh, I wanted to address when we discussed the pickings and how it seems like it's like nobody available. Um, Looking at this generation, I feel like it's been such a generation of independence, right? Oh, independence women, you can do everything on your own, you can do everything. At some point we have to take down off of someone not being unsuccessful on the ability to be independent and able to do things on your own. But if you are looking to have a partner, how is the partner supposed to interject into what you're doing when you have everything taken care of? Listen, when I lift the hood, and now let me give backstory. I am the only girl. I had two brothers. I can do all that stuff. Okay. When I lifted that hood to the car, one time we needed oil. I said, oh no, this is not, no. I'm ready for soft season. My husband's going to do that. I just refuse. Can I do it? Yes, I have the ability to do so many things. Do I want to do these things on my own? And we're in a generation of independence. Women, they can do everything just like a man can. Well, if you don't take down off of some of that, it's no way that a man would even feel like they're even needed in certain situations. And I feel like this generation it's well, we can do it ourselves. We not, and it's not that you don't, but with some of that, I do think that that can be an issue, in my opinion. But regarding the social media and everything, ooh, that's tough because we live in such a social media driven society now. It's bad. I feel like it's hard for people to even communicate, like even just to have face-to-face conversation, just to look into someone's eyes, just to like, it's tough because everything is on social media, everything is online on this. And I agree, Stephanie. I mean, you know if you're online dating, you're looking like, oh no, let me swipe. Oh no, I don't like this. Oh no, I think I like that, and could be picking a monster. We don't know. So it's
Jeez.
tough. It's tough with that aspect.
Wow. This is so deep. Oh my God. Come on, Latoya.
I just want to say too, like, you hit on something with the whole like coming down off your independence thing. Because even once you get the relationship you're looking for, the independent woman is still there. I was single for almost 6 years before I met my husband. So I didn't need him to do anything, but he wanted to. And that was more attractive to me. And I remember telling God one day, I was just like, I had the same moment you had with changing the car. I remember saying to God, like, I'm tired of being strong all the time. Like, I'm tired of being like Miss Independent. And I think so much of a woman's um image and persona has been wrapped up into independence based on previous generations being treated so poorly or looked down upon because all they were homemakers and raising kids. That's all they were good for. I even struggled with my bio because I am at that place where I'm a stay-at-home mom, and this is new for me. Not making my own money, not doing like it. It is weird, but it is a happy weird to have some of the pressure taking off. You don't realize, like I personally didn't realize how much I was in fight or flight in my singlehood because everything is on me. So if things don't work out, I have nobody to help me unless it's like family or something. But like having a secure enough partner where the mortgage gets paid regardless if I go to work or not. My babies eat regardless if I go to work or not. Like there is some comfort in that. Even when I'm having an emotional day. And that has been happening more because my hormones, Lord Jesus. But having him be a stable force for me, even when it comes down to me, I'm not always a confrontational person, but that man is gonna go to war for me. Like sometimes we don't even realize how much we need the help because we've been taught and just ingrained that you don't need a man to do this. And yes, you do. We both need each other. Like, and I'm gonna go there because I'm a believer. It was not God's will that man be alone. That's a real thing. Like we were created for each other. We were created for community. We were created for all these things. And so I kind of bought into the whole independent woman thing. But as I'm learning in relationships and not just personal or romantic, but any relationship, everybody has their role, everybody has their own assignment, and in order for those people to do what they need to do, you have to learn to come together and work together. And yes, that does mean you come down on some of the things that you once believed you never would. Yeah, it doesn't take away from you as a woman to allow a man to do certain things or to have control or a say over things. It does not take away from your personhood for him to say, I got it, or to make a firm decision. And, I think it's about how he goes about making the decision because consideration is love, in my opinion. But, it's just like having someone else take on the load.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm still very much an independent person. I still have the business ventures that I want to do. I still have the different dreams and aspirations. It just looks different now because I have real support. Because I think also too, when you're dealing with friends and family, the support is there, and for some it's genuine, for some it's not. Sometimes it can be conditional. But I've just found lately that with a partner, a life partner, my husband specifically, because every decision I make affects our household, his support, it doesn't always look like, yeah, baby, do it. Sometimes it look like, no, that's not good for you. Like, why are you doing that? That doesn't benefit you. And I had to I had to learn, because I gave this man a run for his money. I ain't gonna lie. You can't tell me what to do. I know what I want to do. My mom and them said, don't let no man do this. Like, I went through all of that. So y'all pray for him. But I had to also learn that that was love too. Having him like step up and acknowledge the fact that, hey, you hurting yourself being there for everybody else. You just had a baby. You need to sit down, take a break. Like, that is also important. And it doesn't rob me of my independence.
There you go.
So I think that is also something I want to counter all the time, because yes, we are told, oh, you miss independent. Oh, girl, don't let them. No, let that man do it. Let that man do it. Go get your nails done or go have brunch with your girls. Like, let him do it. And he wants to do it. That's the thing. Like, I think sometimes we rob men of their masculinity, especially with this whole toxic masculinity thing, which is another conversation for another day. But yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. This is good stuff. Monique, did you want to chime in, you or Brianna, on the question of the dating online dating as opposed to in person?
Yeah. So it's a lot to unpack with that question, plus some of the feedback that was given. So I'll start with the feedback. I believe Stephanie made a statement about it starting with your mindset, which I agree with to a certain degree. And taking it to a whole nother context, I am employed. I have never struggled finding work. Every time I've had a job, my resume was updated. I stayed on my job until I was ready to go. I started searching. Whether it took 6 months or 2 years, I was still able to transition from one job to another successfully. And that has not been the story for other people. Some people really don't find work that easily. And I have been blessed to never have been laid off in the past. So I don't know what that looks like, but that's also not the story for other people. And so when I hear people in present day say, the work pool or the work place is just different for them and they have all of these challenges that they experience, that's not my story, so I can't really speak to it. And I think the same goes for women in a different generational group that's not a millennial, and for women that are married and haven't dated in a while. Because a lot of the single women that I know, they do have a mindset as their person is out there and they are able to find someone, God willing, one day. But that's just not everyone's reality. So it's kind of 50-50 with that. But I do think maintaining a positive mindset in everything you do is crucial. Every aspect that you or journey that you walk in your life. And with the independence topic, I think from my experience, sometimes men get intimidated by that from day one. And just because you are a woman that has been independent, because you had to life for this, you had to pay your bills, you had to make a way for your family, or you had to put yourself through school, and you had goals and you took on 2 or 3 jobs to achieve that, and you accomplished that. And so you set a foundation for yourself that was built out of necessity. And a lot of people are proud of their accomplishments in life. And not to say that you should dim your light for someone else, but and not per se personal experience, but things that I've heard and seen from others, and a lot of men as well. When they meet someone and the woman has her foundation set up, and she would prefer to have someone with that same foundation or similar, and they don't have it, they're like, it's a negative for the man because they're maybe feeling inadequate. I don't know.
Mhm.
And then also, when a woman has that, I don't feel like she should be penalized for being an adult and wanting to meet with someone. And I know it's sticky because it's all in how she communicates that and what she does when she's speaking. So you do have to be mindful of your words and your tone and things of that nature so it doesn't come off so strong as far as you being independent and don't need a man. But I agree with the comments there though. We do have to be soft and we do have to step back and let a man be a man and feel like he has value and just a place in your life and not just tagging along. But in response to the actual question for social media versus in-person dating, I think it depends on the woman and where she is in her life. For me personally, I work remote, so I'm not outside Monday through Friday. I don't go downtown. I'm not on the train. I don't meet people unless I leave my home. And because of that, I don't have as many opportunities to meet people as maybe some other people do. And I have friends, but a lot of my friends are married. So they're not around single crowds to maybe meet someone from their group or whatnot. So for me, social media has been somewhat beneficial.
Mm.
Um, and I have always preferred an in-person type of organic interaction because social media can be deceiving. You have people that alter their pictures. You have people who don't update their pictures. You have um, people that share pages with people, and it's like you don't know which one, or they post pictures with groups of friends. And you're like, which one is the person? So it can be challenging when you're on social media like Facebook, Instagram, but when you're on like an actual dating app, that's a whole nother thing because people steal people pictures and then you build sometime a relationship with a whole nother person and you catfish. So it has its challenges for sure, but it also can have some benefits to it just expanding your reach and your possibilities. But you have to be mindful, use wisdom when you're navigating that, and um,
Yeah.
just use approaches, maybe like FaceTime, make sure the person is who they say they are, and have conversations and things of that sort. But I personally um, don't mind social media dating and um, have found it to be somewhat effective.
Okay.
Heavily, somewhat.
Yeah, sounds like you're in the catch-22 there, you know. When you talk.
Honest, to be honest though, is you have the same risk though. Of
Yeah.
course, it's a little bit heavier on the social media dating, but you can meet someone in person, not wearing a wedding ring, got a whole family at home, or a whole nother family in another state, or he likes men on the low, or he has a girlfriend already and he won't verbalize that. And some people are really good at hiding their
Wow.
life. And so you just got to use wisdom and pray about everything. That's just.
Got it. Yeah, I totally agree. Go back to what Kim was saying about praying. And I know I flashed this comment earlier. Maturity and knowing yourself is key. That I can also help as well. Thanks for that comment, Gwen. Come on, Brianna, can you answer that question? What are your thoughts on the online dating as opposed to in person, face to face?
Um, I don't think there's much difference. Like you still have to use the same discernment that you use, whether you could meet somebody in person, they could be a serial killer. You could meet somebody on the internet, they could be a serial killer. Like you have to still use your same discernment. You have to still be asked the same questions. You have to still get to know the person, make an assessment. It's not like how you meet them is not really what matters to me. Like I could meet you on an airplane, it doesn't matter. Or I can meet you on Facebook. It doesn't matter. We still have to go through the same process to see if we're both trying to get to the same place, or for me to figure out who you are. Like that process doesn't change whether regardless of where I meet you at. So I don't. For me, it doesn't matter.
Okay, all right. Sound like you and Monique in the same boat there. I get it. I hear you. Totally hear you. Thank you for that question, Miss Dixon. I believe that Carolyn Dixon. Thank you so much. I wanted to read this comment from Angie Mims. She says, I feel Kimberly Grant when you were talking earlier. She said, child, I had to change tires, change oil, fix furnaces because my father always said, you never know who you're going to marry. However, she said it perfectly. I am in a softness season. Y'all been throwing out some quotes today. I don't want to. I'm tired. I like that. Softness season. Come. I guess that's what I'm in. Hey, glory to God. All right. Let me go back. But I enjoyed each of those comments. Let's see. Gwen says, so proud of you, beautiful and brilliant young Black queens. I really am too. I really am too. I did not want to keep them this long on today. I know that Saturday is a busy day for people. We didn't even touch the surface of things to discuss, not the surface, okay? I talked about the 10 worst millennial stereotypes. Then we started talking about dating and that really never got off of that. We went to marriage, but it was needed. It was definitely needed. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put y'all on the spot and ask y'all if we can have another session at some point. We need to try and get our schedules together. Like, another one? Yeah, girl, because we want to hear from y'all, okay? So we're going to try and see if we can arrange to get them on another time. We can have another, I know, of course, we'll be during Women's History Month, but that doesn't matter. They still have something to say. They have something to say that we need to hear. Those of you who are not millennials, those of you who are millennials, they said a lot of things on today that we can kind of take in. So as I am wrapping up on today, because I want to be true to my word, I want to, Denise, you laughing because we said we didn't get to a quarter of what I can't even give not even a fraction. Okay, Leslie say, I agree, Leslie. Bring them back for more chatting. I agree. So I think I saw some yes up there. I think they said yes. I'll talk to them afterwards. I have taken each of you as my niece. Okay, so y'all my nieces now, right? It's not just Latoya, Monique, y'all, Stephanie, Kimberly, Brianna, y'all my nieces as well. And I am so godly proud of each of you. I really and truly am. Your answers were just on point, spot on. As we're wrapping up today, I want to hear from each of you. Maybe you just want to wrap up with, something to encourage those that are listening. Maybe you want to wrap up something you said earlier or touch on something before we leave. Let's start with Stephanie.
Well, since this is March and Women History Month, I just want ladies to know that you're worthy. Like that's what I'm reading a book right now called Worthy, and for me, it's really taking a look at your identity and who God has created you to be, and just really believing that. So I feel like even when it comes to so many different aspects in life as women, just knowing that core belief and knowing that you're worthy, that you're worth it. That's really what I want more of women to know and believe. So just know that you're worthy. And I'm just so grateful to be here with you ladies. It has been spectacular talking to you guys, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So,
All right. All right. Well, thank you. I started off with the right one. Thank you. That was good. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Come on, Brianna.
I think, I guess in wrapping, I would just want people to know that it's possible for you to get whatever it is that you want. The self-limiting belief of am I worthy or can I get it or is it possible? Like most of the time for most people, the biggest obstacle in your way is yourself. Um, you are capable of getting whatever it is you want. You're capable of finding that path. It may take a little longer, but you genuinely, whether it's a relationship or a job or a home, whatever it is obtainable, it's within your reach. You just have to focus on it and make sure you're aligned, do your inner work so that you can be ready to receive it and you can have it.
Love it. Thank you. That's beautiful. Come on, Monique.
Okay. Well, I did have a blast today, and I loved hearing from all of your beautiful perspectives and varying backgrounds. So it was amazing. In closing, I guess the one thing I would like to share to everyone watching, especially the women, is to not be discouraged. I think a lot in life, just the different areas that we're placed in, the people that we meet, sometimes it can be overwhelming. Different goals you're trying to achieve, whatever that may be, just stay committed to it and put in the work and don't compare yourselves to others. Go at your own pace and just pray about it. So don't be discouraged. That would be my words in closing. So
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Gwen says, love you, Missy Pooh. Monique, you're a real one. All right. And I saw love you, Kimmy. We're going to hear from Kim right now. Leslie Taylor Wallace said, love you, Kimmy. Come on, Kimmy. Wrap us up with your last comments.
Yes, I had an amazing time. This has been so encouraging to me with you lovely, lovely women. In closing, I want to encourage those out there who are maybe feel like they're in the season of their failure. They're in the season of not being sure of, what the next step is. You're in between, you're betwixt. Just stay encouraged, persevere. Even if you feel like you want to give up, just is if you got the crawl there, let's get it. Okay. And don't be afraid to share with those because somebody needs to hear your story. It's not always, everything is just, oh, everything's hunky dory. You can help somebody else in those seasons. So never give up. Keep going. Don't compare yourself. As Monique was saying, don't compare yourself. What the Lord has for you is for you. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Your story is your story. And as we celebrating her story and all these amazing her stories that we've heard today, it's been so amazing. And I'm so grateful and blessed to have shared this with you all today. Stay encouraged.
All right. All right. Thank you. Latoya, I know you said it's kind of pressure being the last, but come on, wrap us up.
No, I fell right into it now. I'm good now, but I definitely appreciate the invitation. I appreciate you for trusting me with the panel. And I thank all the women that participated and said yes to my most random request. And I would just say in closing, grace. Remember, in all of the persevering, all the encouragement, and all of that, show yourself some grace. Even if you fail, there's a lesson to be learned and a testimony to be shared from that moment. And I know we talk about a lot about self-care, but just being intentional about taking care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. So, in all of your doing and going and learning, remember to have grace with yourself, love yourself, and be there for yourself first before you be there for others.
Carolyn Dixon says this was awesome. Carolyn, I thank you for joining us. Judith said, amen. Oh, ladies, I know I got to let you go. I don't want to let you go, but this has been tremendous. It was all that I thought it would be and more, which is why we're going to have to come back for another session. You did wonderful. You did wonderful. I know some of them may have been nervous coming on, and this was, as Latoya said, a weird request to ask of them, but I do appreciate each of you for taking time out today. I appreciate you for the correspondence that we had back and forth prior to the show, and coming in and gracing us with your presence on today. I want to encourage each of you, and you guys have been encouraging to me. I want to encourage each of you to continue on in what God has you doing and what he's going to show you what to do. Continue. I heard prayer throughout us talking on today. Make sure you pray. Make sure you place God first. He's revealing himself to you, and there are higher heights and deeper depths in him that he wants to take you to. So you all be encouraged as you're encouraging others. Nadine Fields, thank you for coming in. She says, great show. I totally agree. I had that one comment that was from Gwendolyn Gaston Gray. I read it already. I flashed it a few times, but I will also say that I'm proud of each of you. I'm proud of you. Let's continue on. You moms, you wives, you businesswomen, you entrepreneurs, you single ladies. Yeah, I'm a single. Oh, no, I'm not gonna do that. But thank you. Saturdays are not easy, but thank you for coming in today. So I know you're gonna go get yourselves together, do whatever you're gonna do. Be safe. Thank you again. Thank you to all of you that are on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Again, remember this segment will be uploaded to Intellectual Radio's YouTube as well. But I want to just thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize the names on Instagram, but thank y'all for coming on. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for not letting me talk to myself every week when I come on. We're going to continue on with our Her Story series. What's Her Story
Get
series?
caught in a net with Annette. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with Annette.